So what you guys are looking at here are the 4 different stages of content production that I had to do for this specific page. And I know you guys are thinking that there aren't a lot of clicks here, but what matters here is the actual impressions and how Google is reacting directly to the changes that we're making based on our experiments. So let's talk about what's happening here, guys, because it's super relevant to those of you that aren't getting the traffic you deserve, because you might be stuck on one of these earlier content stages. This first little peak that we see right here represents that initial launch of this content. So again, this is a page that's targeting a specific set of keywords for a service that this client is targeting. And this initial content that we launched was around 300 to 400 words, a few headings that were properly optimized, but we definitely could have done better. We did it this way specifically just to see what it would take for this specific page to rank well on Google, right? What exactly were we gonna need, right? Could we get away with publishing a minimal amount of content? That's what this initial test was for. And so right off the bat, we saw a tiny little bump in impressions. The positions were kind of all over the place. The rankings were all over the place. And then right after that, this page basically disappeared off Google. So not very good news here. After that, what I did is I plugged this page into SurferSEO. I used that audit feature, and it basically told me that the main thing here was that I needed more content. So this is definitely something that we were expecting. And so we added around 800, 900 words to the specific content. We tried to add lists, images, all this stuff, right? We really tried to improve this content as much as we could. And the results were pretty solid. Google started to reconsider this specific post. Again, we see a little bump in impressions, and even when it dies down, we're not back to 0, right? And even the rankings stay present, right? So Google is reconsidering this website a little bit more. But then it seems that the impressions again were dying down again. I then realized, so this is stage number 3, I then realized that this page didn't actually have any relevant internal links. Big mistake on my part. So we went ahead, we added those internal links from relevant pages. Nothing too extreme here. Wherever we saw that there was an opportunity to link out to this specific page, we did that, again, with a meaningful anchor text. And so we then saw another little bump here, which was very interesting to see. But again, we start to see that the impressions were going down. All of this was good news though. It seemed like Google was reacting well to that new content, to the internal links, but we definitely needed to take it up a notch. And so what we did after that is around here is when I decided to go and find at least one high quality backlink for this specific page. And so I think we got the backlink around August 23rd. So this day right here, there's a bit of a dip, and then there's this massive spike in impressions. And I think we also got a click here, a lot more clicks coming this way. And I'll actually show you guys right here. So this specific keyword, unfortunately guys, I can't show you guys the specific keywords. This is a real client, but it went up 24 spots for a decently sized volume. This is a very specific service that we're offering, so it is very, very relevant. And if we actually take a look here at this backlink, this is the specific backlink. Again, guys, I can't show you guys the specific backlink here, but we can see it's a DR65, not bad. And we got 2 do follow links to target. Now, pretty solid. This was a free backlink using one of the many link building methods that I've been talking about. I have a bunch of link building videos that you guys can check out, or if you want me to teach you exactly how I do link building, you can also go check out my course. Link for that is in the description. So we can see right away, this spike is Google telling us that we're doing things correctly, right? And so this has been happening over a period of around 4 or 5 months, right? From May to September. And so the main lesson here, guys, is number 1, SEO definitely takes a lot of time. We need to be thinking about all the different things that we can be doing to our content, right? Is there anything we can do to improve the content that we've already published? Can we add more data, more graphs, more lists, right? Can we add features, snippet opportunities? So we need to be thinking about how we can constantly be improving this content. On top of that, have we added any relevant internal links? If we haven't, we definitely need to prioritize that. And do we have any relevant backlinks? And if we already have relevant backlinks, then we need to go for more backlinks, right? So we need to remember that there's always more things we can do to our content. And this is especially important if you don't think you're getting the traffic that you deserve. Now, tip number 2 has to do with helping Google understand our website just a little bit better, right? Everything we do in the world of SEO is basically an attempt to show Google that our website is valuable, so that Google in return shows our website to more people by giving us better rankings. And so there's obviously a lot of things that can go wrong. The first one being technical errors, which hopefully is something that you've already diagnosed and fixed before watching this video, especially if you're having traffic problems. But further than that, we want to make sure that we're actually doing everything we can to help Google instead of making things more complicated for them. Now, let me give you guys an example. We're going to be taking a look at another ex-client of mine. This is an e-commerce store in the merchandising niche, and these guys, like most e-commerce websites, they have an ungodly amount of category, subcategory, product pages, right? Massive website. And what often happens is that you can accidentally create so many pages that are so similar that we can actually confuse Google. And we can actually see that right here. So again, guys, I'm gonna have to blur everything out, but what we can see is that this keyword has around 25K in monthly searches. These guys are ranking between the 12th, 13th position, so at the top of page 2. And I want you guys to notice this position history graph. So what we're taking a look at here, this blue line is the URL that we were actually intending to rank. And then we have this orange line. It's a different URL, a URL that should not be ranking, but because it is such a similar page, Google has incorrectly picked that up. But that's basically our fault, right? For not helping Google and making things extremely clear for Google. So what Google is doing here is that they see that yes, there is a small variation in these URLs, in these pages. So they're basically trying to test to see which page ranks and performs better. And so this page was actually published around here. So it took some time for Google to notice. We start to see this negative trend right away. And then Google ended up picking up this page and testing it almost on a daily basis, right? Switching the page that was actually on the index on a daily basis. This is super frustrating, and it absolutely destroyed the rankings. It absolutely destroyed the traffic that we used to get to this page. Again, we started off in position 10, and then randomly there were days where we were in position 45, basically getting no clicks. And so what we ended up doing is basically just adding a really simple fix. This is very important if you have an e-commerce website, right? What we did is we just made sure that Google was reading the correct canonicals. I'm not going to dive deep into that, but the main lesson here, guys, is we just needed to help Google understand which was the correct page to bring up on the index. And the most frustrating thing, guys, is that you most likely would not have seen this in a technical audit, but this is very critical to the traffic of this page. So if we aren't seeing the traffic results that we'd like to see, we need to do a very big deep dive on each specific keyword, see what the traffic is looking like and why we aren't getting the traffic that we deserve, right? Is it something that we're doing? Can we help Google just a little bit more, right? And now, guys, I want to talk about tip number 3, and that has to do with consistency, and that has to do with topical authority. And so what we're looking at here is, again, another client of mine, and this is a brand new blog section that we've created over the last few months. And so we can see not a lot of clicks, 43 clicks, a bunch of impressions, but the most important thing here, guys, is the actual trend of growth, right? Things are going up, and that's exactly what we want to be doing. We need to stay consistent. We cannot get demotivated just because we've published 10 posts over the last couple of months and we're not seeing the traffic that we'd expect, guys. SEO is a very long-term game. It's an investment that we need to believe in, and we need to keep feeding Google consistent, high-quality content that our users love to read and love to share. So that's tip number 3, guys. We need to stay consistent. That's also going to help us develop our topical authority. The more topical authority, in theory, the easier it's going to be for us to rank for more competitive terms in that space. I do also just want to give you guys a really quick bonus tip. If you're starting out and if you have a brand new website and you're thinking about your brand new SEO strategy, you're deciding which way to go, you see what your competitors are doing and you're thinking to yourself, I actually don't want to do what they're doing. I want to reinvent the wheel, right? I want to do something different. I want to be different to my competitors. What I would honestly recommend is not trying to reinvent the wheel at the start. What I would recommend is copying what your competitors are doing, copying what's working for them, because they've spent a bunch of time and money to get to that point, right? If we're at the start, we want to have a very solid base of traffic that's bringing us leads, that's bringing us sales, whatever your objective is. And once we're at a point where we have a healthy amount of traffic, that's when we can start getting creative and thinking about all the things that they're not doing. But if we're at the start, guys, we need to take advantage of all the work that they've done. And this is one of the magic things about the SEO space, right? We can actually see exactly what they're doing, see what's working for them, and just go ahead, copy, and try to improve it. If you guys want to see a recent case study of mine for a brand new website, you guys can click on this video right here. And if you guys want me to teach you SEO from scratch, go check out the link in the description to my course. There's also an early bird discount. Thanks for sticking till the end, guys. I'll see you in the next one.